Well, not all my videos can be super fun and informative. So this video is just informative. So please leave your like, leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next one. And if you find this informative, enjoy. What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Obviously if you're new here, you've been missing out on so much, so hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notification so you don't miss out on anything else we do. Usually when we service a bike or we clean our bike, there's a few things we neglect to do, and that can run into future problems, maybe cost you a bit of money. And I thought for today's video I'm going to show you guys 5 things to look at to make sure that your bike's number one, 100% clean, and that you can eliminate most of those creaks and sounds when after just servicing your bike that they still are there. So I'm going to show you guys a few things. I'm going to strap the GoPro onto my chest, and I hope I can do it like that. I think it'll be super cool just to give you guys a hands-on view of what I'm doing, and a few of the things quite bad, so I suggest you guys stick around and maybe just give the video a fat thumbs up and comment throughout the video. So yeah, let's do this. One of the first things that I recommend you guys always do and always check would be this cap on your bar stem. Now yes, it's not something that moves or something that's got a gap where dirt can get in there, but I promise you there's a lot of moisture in there, and there's a lot of dust that can get into this and end up making a bad creaking noise when riding, especially when pressing on your handlebars a little bit. Now I've started to loosen this already, and never use a tool like this to tighten it, but I'm just going to use it to take it off because it's quite quick. Now this bike's been standing for a very long time, and I haven't ridden it in a while, and I can already show you guys that there's a little bit, my bike's usually clean, but there's a little bit of dirt and gunk and grime on there. You can see it just a little bit. I hope you can see it on the camera. But anyway, just make sure you clean that quite nicely. You can always clean your bar stem as well, clean inside there, and then you can just apply a light line of grease there, something like your white lightning grease, just to make sure that this won't rust or it won't contaminate or anything will go onto this. And you do get aluminium rust. I'll show you how it looks just now on the next handlebar I'm going to do. So yeah, the first thing you're going to do is just make sure you clean your bar stem, especially on the inside here. Clean out all the dirt that goes into the thread on your screws there. I feel mine's already come up a bit more difficult than it should. So yeah, first thing I'm going to clean out here. The next thing I'm going to show you guys is on grip tape and grips for your mountain bike especially. And I must warn you, this one is super bad. Now I've had a couple of clients, sweaty hands, a lot of mountain bike riding, and I'm talking about sweaty hands when it comes to your road bike, and then they bring their bikes after many months of riding the same grip tape, and then they're like, "Ron, just change the grip tape for me, I'm looking for something new." And then when you start taking that off, the smell and oh, it's bad, it's super bad. So I suggest you guys change your grip tape at least once every 2 months, depending on the weather you're riding. If you're doing a lot of indoor training on the trainers, you'll have to replace that once a month at least if you ride 4 to 5 times a week. Once a month, yeah. But just normal conditions, normal riding, I'd say once every 2 to 3 months, just change your grip tape. It'll make a lot of a big difference, number one, and you'll save your handlebars at the end. And now I'm talking about this mountain bike handlebar that I've got here, and the reason why I say this, take off your grips every now and again and clean just underneath your grips, and just make sure it's nice and dry there, because most of the times we wash our bikes and then we never take our grips off to clean beneath the grips. I'm going to show you why I'm saying this. Now I know this is not too bad. I hope you can see it there on the camera if it picks up all the grime and rust that's in there. Now this is not that bad because I know it's actually just underneath the grip and there's not a lot of sweat that will get in there, but this is water and a bit of dust and so on that gets in here. And this is actually rust. This is rust on an aluminium handlebar. I told you guys about the aluminium corrosion that you get. And this means that this handlebar is busy going towards the end of its life. I've cleaned this side as good as I can, but you can see that there's still a lot of rough spots here where the aluminium actually made, I'm going to say, small little boulders, if I can say it like that, where the handlebars rusted through the paint, through the stronger part of the coating that's on there, and it's actually going into the soft part. So I've scratched a bit of it and it's gone. This handlebar is going to need replacing. So that's the second thing you must remember to do, is always change your grip tape. Well, I always say as much as you can, or if you've been riding in a lot of wet weather or foggy weather, change your grip tape. A lot of indoor training, change your grip tape. And then when you're riding a mountain bike, take off your grips every now and again. Let's say if you wash it twice a week, maybe take it off the third time, and then just make sure it's dry underneath your grip. And you'll save yourself a lot of money in the future because you won't have to replace your handlebars, and your bike will be a lot cleaner at the end. So let's move on to tip number 3. Things that I suggest you guys do quite a lot. And I know this is quite terrifying to remove a saddle because you usually get some nice points in your saddle where the setup is quite nice and you don't really want to mess around with that. Now the best tip I can give you guys on this is take maybe something like a black permanent marker or just a Sharpie or whatever, or some Tipp-Ex, and then you can just make yourself 2 little grooves on each side of your clamp, and then just anywhere on your rail, just make sure you make a nice little line where everything can just meet up again, because you can wipe this off at the end. So you know when you're taking off your saddle, you'll be able to align it towards the level that it was, and then on the lines itself. Now sorry guys, just had a client real quick. They brought in this beauty of a bike. This works with those carbon roval wheels. Oh man, one day when I'm big I'll have one of these. But anyway, we were talking about the saddle, or the seat we're taking off. So yeah, we make sure we've got our 2 lines on the side of the rail, so we know front and rear settings will be perfect. We're making the little line all the way down so it can meet up on your seat post. It's something you can wipe off with a normal Sharpie like this, and then you'll know you've got the level right, you've got the position front and rear right, and then obviously the only thing you'll have to do is maybe just take your seat post and make another line on it down onto your rail here as well. Or if you can see that your seat's straight, it's fine. But this is one tip. You're going to take off your seat and your seat post you're going to take out. So if you can make sure that you install the seat straight into your frame again, that's perfect. If not, and you make sure it's perfect, just make a small little line going all the way down, and then your line's on the seat. So I'm quickly going to take off my seat and I'm going to show you guys the most important things to clean inside there. Alright, so I've removed my seat and you can see inside here, I hope the camera picks it up. You can see there's a lot of dirt inside there, and it's also just a bit of water and so on coming in there while you're riding. And I'm going to encourage you guys to clean these things as good as you can, and then you can also just apply a light line of grease there to make sure there's no creaking noises when you're installing your seats again. Now that's the first thing you're going to look at. The second thing you'll have to look at would be something like this. That's your clamps that go in there. Make sure you clean these things quite nicely as well, and then where your seat rails are, make sure you clean inside there as well. So this is one tip. You're going to clean the seat where your clamp to go in, and you're going to clean the seat rail clamps to make sure there's no creaking on that. So it's 2 points but one tip. Inside there and on the rails itself, you can even clean your seat rails as well. And then when taking out your seat, make sure you clean that as well. And when you've got something like a carbon bike, even an aluminium bike with a carbon seat post, that you put some carbon compound in there, or carbon grease they call it. There's a bit of grit inside that grease that makes sure your seat don't slide up and down or sideways when you've installed it and you can only torque this to, let's say, 6 newtons, that'll just help to make sure that your seat don't slide down. Now, yes, there was a few speculations that that can cause a bit of creaking as well, and I've had that as well. So it is something that you have to clean every once in a while just to make sure that the creaking sounds are out of that. So yeah, the first thing we're going to do, make sure you clean your bar stem. Second thing, bar tape and grips on your mountain bike especially. The third tip you're going to do is make sure you clean your little clamps here for your seat that goes into the seat post itself, and then obviously the seat rail clamps as well, and then your seat post on the inside as well. So let's move on to tip number 4. Tip. This is something that a lot of people neglect, and I've seen it on a lot of bikes coming in for servicing, is something like your quick release. Now yes, on your through axles on the mountain bike, you can also clean those because you're already taking them out. So I'd advise you guys to clean them and then just put a light line of grease on that as well. But when you come to something like your quick release on the normal QR bikes, do the little bit of effort, take out the quick release, just put this down, take out the quick release, clean the little axle there, make sure you clean the thread on here, because these things do rust quite easily, and I've had that a lot. I've had it today again on a bike we've been servicing, and then you want to try to remove this little cap there, they either break or the plastic cap comes off, and you're left with a little piece of metal part there that's rusted onto this. So this is a major thing to remember. Clean this, make sure you put a little bit of grease on there before installing this again, and obviously you'll save yourself a lot of money when you take care of this. You can already see this one's been worn out a little bit there on the end. Also grease that rust that we had to take off here, and it makes a big difference at the end. I mean, this is not a lot of money, but if you have to change this quite a lot, it's going to start becoming a pain. So remember to take out your quick release or your through axle, clean them, put a little bit of grease on there, and always just put them back with a clean thread, and this will save you some money at the end. And then the 5th little tip I'm going to give you guys will be on your pedals. So let's do this. Now unfortunately my bike doesn't have any pedals on it at the moment, but I can still show you guys how dirty this gets inside there. I hope the camera picks that up, because that can get very dirty inside there. I hope it picks it up. Oh well, not as good as I want it to. But anyway, it does get very dirty in there, and you won't believe that they can get moist or grime and dirt onto that thread and onto this little side cap here. You'll see most of the SRAM, I haven't seen it on Shimano yet, but on your SRAM cranks they give you a little washer that you put on before you put your pedal on. Clean that, clean the thread on your pedal, put a bit of red rubber grease. That's something that I use a lot on my cranks, or if you have copper compound or copper paste, that's very good. You can always use that, but make sure the threads on your pedals are clean and your cranks, and that'll also eliminate a bit of creaking and funny noises. I know it sounds funny, and especially like with your seat, you don't think that any dirt can get in there, but it does make a massive difference on the end when your bike's creaking and bobbing around and you don't know where to look at anymore. So yeah, make sure you clean these, put some grease on there, and this will help you to remove the pedals in the future, because I promise you guys that these things can get stuck in there and they do rust, because it's 2 different types of metal that you put together. Now I've seen it if you put aluminium and just normal cast iron together, and that's what not most, but on your cheaper end bikes, the thread on your axles made of the pedals are, and they can rust quite badly inside here. They call it metal corrosion or metal fusion that happens inside there, and that's very bad. So I'm going to encourage you guys, when cleaning your bike, clean it as good as possible. Take these 5 tips to heart and make sure that you clean these things, and I promise you your bike will just run a bit smoother. All the creaks and noises will be out. I've actually cleaned one of my friend's bikes, the same thing, we cleaned it here, and the creaking noise on his bike was gone. So guys, I'm sharing these 5 tips with you. It's things that I've learned out of my past and things I've seen inside the store daily, that just make your bike a bit quieter and cleaner. So let's do some motivation. So for today's motivation, I'm going to share something with you guys that I've been struggling for a very long time, and that's routine and setting short-term goals for yourself. And what I've usually done is I said, no, at the end of the year I want to do this, so I wanted to achieve that. And then most of the times I don't make it because through the year there happens certain things that just throw you off the whole wagon and then you never get back on it. I want to encourage you guys, find smaller goals or short-term goals that's very, very achievable, and that you know that if something goes wrong, you'll always be able to pick up that goal and make sure you work towards that. And then routine. That's one of the biggest things I've been struggling with, and I've learned that a lot with this YouTube channel. If you've got a good routine, then the whole channel performs better, and then you are more, usually when we're cycling and you could get into a breakaway, you say out of sight, out of mind. So you need to get out of sight, out of mind. And if you're going to put all your goals too far ahead, it'll be out of your sight and then you'll lose mind of it. So that's what I'm saying with the routine things. Make sure you've got short-term goals and get into a routine to be able to achieve that goals. And as soon as you've got a very good routine, you'll be able to achieve your bigger goals and long-term goals. It's easy to say I want to reach something at the end of the year, but if you don't have a good routine, you'll never reach that. So set short-term goals, get a good routine to make sure you can achieve all your shorter goals, and at the end of the year or at the end of your long-term achievement or goals that you want to achieve, you'll obviously get them. So guys, I want to encourage you, stay strong, stay safe, set the short-term goals and get into a very good routine.